Trish, 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 Trish.
Oh, you got knocked out.
Could you go into the room and get me a nice large neckerchief, a red one? Get a red one with all kind of little brands on it. That's the one I like. That's the one. Go right around.
Okay.
Because small nuts where it hangs down in front. Yeah. Just like that. Perfect. Thank you.
Still like
You can leave yours muted.
Yeah.
Because the volume in the room will pick up.
All right. Still like finish off your issue behind Henry. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Too late on the game. This is yeah. Oh, there, I had it. I had it all along, just put it on a different folder. Okay.
And I was four health costs, had some blood points there. Well, I got to know him when I was doing library education program. And he was,
You working?
lieutenant of district.
Hey, Dr. Billy.
Howdy.
Uncle, you all sit on your end?
Yeah, but don't be far, yeah.
I'm right here at earshot.
Did we get the track? No. I was picking it Friday, but no. Cleo, good to see you.
Come on.
Come on. Howdy. I think Bonnie was gonna zoom in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she said she had a stick around a cool.
Oh,
Oh, no.
yeah. Maunakea was gonna zoom in too. It's still around.
You have a chance to talk to him.
No, yeah, we keep missing each other.
Right. Oh,
Maybe I should just give him a whole bunch of exhibits and stuff. I don't know if it makes sense.
Hi, Kel.
Hi, everyone.
Good to see you.
You too.
Hello.
Hi, Roberta. Uncle Billy.
Hey, Roberta. And then Julie said she was gonna be late. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
should we give Makai some time?
Yeah.
So we're a few minutes earlier.
Yeah, everybody's on it today.
I think everybody wants to finish early.
I know. Yeah.
No.
Especially those of us who have a long drive.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, I have 4 more minutes.
You have your fan up.
Yes.
So these meetings are, we operate under sunshine, so. Once we go public, everybody we're on the record. So that's why there's a lot of quiet till we actually go start.
So is Makai Freitas at the library?
No.
No,
No,
he was
right?
gonna zoom in,
Zoom in, right? Okay.
yeah. He
Can't really
notified Sarah, he was gonna zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. On the phone, I can't even tell. I just know there's 2, 4, 5 people there, but I can't tell who's there.
Andy, Mike, Kaleo, and our newest employee, Kamalani.
Ah, okay. Aloha.
And then Pihao and Erica and Billy are on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay.
Aloha, everyone.
There we go.
How's that, Roberta?
Oh, yeah, that's
Perfect. That
better.
looks
Thank you very
good.
much.
See the top of my head shining.
I
Yes,
think,
that's
yeah.
great.
Now you can tell if we doze off.
There's
I don't have my
just-
glasses on, so you can, as long as you don't put your head on the table.
There's someone joining that's just called the iPad. I'm not sure if that's.
Oh, that might be Makai, right?
I was wondering if that was him or if it was someone else.
He's trying to get in.
Maybe. I haven't gotten any message from him.
You guys all get iPads, right?
I suppose I
If
could
you want to,
if you want.
promote to a panelist, and if it's not him, can I demote him? Let's give it a shot.
Hey,
Yeah, the iPad
Ah.
is me.
Hey, Makai, welcome.
How you guys doing?
Good. We didn't know who iPad was, so.
Oh, there, there.
I just changed it.
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. I have 5 p.m. and knowing that Julie may be late, I will call the meeting to order. We do have quorum today. And before we get started, I did want to have everyone meet Makai Freitas, who's our new UH regent for West Hawaii, right? Yeah, West Hawaii.
Yes.
Because Mike is our East Hawaii representative, and he has just joined our Maunakea Management Board. So welcome, Makai. I hope one day to talk to you in person, but I know
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
hard these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely make it up the next time. But thank you guys. Nice meeting you folks as well.
Yeah. Let's see. So I will ask for all of us attending via Zoom. If there's anyone in the room with you, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands for the record, attendees by Zoom are by themselves. Let's see. I did not see any written or oral testimony for today's meeting. Greg, can you confirm that?
That's correct, Chair, that's correct.
Okay, so we can now move to approval of the minutes of the July 7th, 2026 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes that were circulated?
I'll move to accept the minutes of July 7th.
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Thank
Wow.
you. Now, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
A unanimous approval. Before we move to Kahukumauna report, I think, Greg, you wanted to have, what was it on here? Did you want to have, Kaleo Pilago present his education and outreach annual review?
Yes, and actually, his review will actually cover the material that, we covered at the last Kahukumana meeting as well. So it will substitute for the Kahukumana report. So if that's okay, we can combine those two matters.
Okay, that's fine with me.
So I'd like to everybody introduce Kaleo Pilago. Some of you have met him before. Kaleo is our education and outreach coordinator. And every year we like to have he and Justin and some of our other managers put together an annual report of their activities for the last fiscal year. So as I mentioned, Kaleo provided this report to Kahukumana at their last meeting. By the way, Kahukumana has their next meeting this Thursday. After going through the report, it was clear that we wanted to make sure that Maunakea Management Board also had an opportunity to hear and see where Kaleo how Kaleo has grown the program. And joining Kaleo tonight is also Kamalani Poipoi, who is a new addition to the team and much needed help for Kaleo. So I'll turn it over to you, Kaleo.
Okay. So hello, board members. Yeah, again, my name is Kaleo Pilago. I do the education and outreach work for CMS. Yeah, pretty happy. Kamalani is a recent graduate of UH Hilo. Yay! A few weeks ago. She just finished up her third pipes internship this year, geology major. Yeah, so I'm just really happy to have her on board. A lot of her expertise the expertise she's bringing is not in my field of study, so she's gonna bring a lot to our program. So kind of made her come to this meeting. So thank you for coming. Yeah. So I'm gonna just share my screen really quickly, just kind of some updates from last June to this past July. Just give me a second. Yeah, so as Greg says, kind of a pretty basic looking presentation, but in the previous year, the 24 to 25 year, we actually as Greg always says, we cast a wide net and to kind of see how much different community groups and people we could bring up to the Mauna to participate in our projects. So we had a lot more, the numbers are a little bit higher, which was good. And there was some not so good. It wasn't necessarily bad, but with that being said, in the 25-26 fiscal year, we kind of, not to exclude anybody, but we were a little bit more selective on the groups that we reached out to and we kind of agreed to host on Mauna Kea. The reasons for that was we were trying to make sure that the goals of the groups that we host align at least a little bit with the goals of CMS and the education and outreach program. So we still did reach a lot more people than I anticipated. There's a lot of interest out there in the community for people to come up, do work on Mauna Kea for different reasons. Some is research, there's a lot of professional development, and there's just pretty much straightforward people want to participate in community service projects. So again, in the 24 to 25 fiscal year, we hit almost 40 different groups. Like this past year we hit 24. It's it was by design, and I think we hit almost 700 participants in that previous year. So that was a lot, kind of way more than anticipated. And this year we hit 477. So which still is a pretty substantial amount of participants. Granted, some of them repeat, where we kind of repeat students, like we work 3 times per semester with the Maunakea Learning Center students. We host a series of University of Hawaii IS 250 Kuleana and community classes. Different classes, but it's under the same IS 250 title. Yeah. And when you're looking at the outreach activities, we have 16 on there, which kind of range from us as staff tabling at different events. Also included in that number is class visits to UH Hilo classes, to some of the high schools and stuff. So, and in addition to those outreach activities, there's a lot of partnerships that we have and are trying to establish with like Nakalai Va'a and the Makali'i Ohana in Kohala. And that one I wanted to share a little bit about. I can talk about it a little more, but that one we're trying to establish a stronger partnership with the Nakalai Va'a gang because they're trying to bring back the art of ko'i making, ads making, and canoe making, which is what the name of their organization is. But there's, some of their teachers are not necessarily familiar with the environment and Keonakakoi on Mauna Kea. So we kind of acting as a partner between Nakalaiva'a and the LNR Natural Area Reserves, and just helping Nakalaiva'a gang do it the permit, follow the permitting process, yeah. I kind of laugh about that because there's a lot of our Hawaiian groups, which is our right too. They have the right to go and gather, but sometimes it makes a lot more sense to just follow the process, and that's, well, with the Nakalaiva'a gang, I gotta do the paperwork part, but I'm all right with that, as long as we, if I'm gonna encourage groups to come up and exercise their rights to gather. There is a right way, and not necessarily a wrong way, but I prefer that legal paperwork route, just because it seems a lot cleaner and better. Yeah, so that's just another partnership we're establishing, and from that, we actually went up into Keonakakoi about a month ago, and we got to take some of the teachers from Kano'okaina and Nakalaiva'a that will be teaching canoe making. And yeah, just to kind of teach them about the area, show them where the area is, and just spend time in there. Just seeing if they really want to go in there and gather koi. That was the whole point of it, yeah. Sometimes people go in and they kind of change their mind about certain things and change their approaches. That's just the nature of working on Mauna Kea. But any questions about that? I'm gonna kind of go into more detail about the different groups we work with and the different types of students that we work with as well.
I think the board packet that was sent out has different numbers on the
Yeah.
first page.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's the wrong year.
It was
Lis-
changed. I got the okay, so that's what I
Oh.
sent out.
Or an update, I didn't send you an updated one.
No.
Sorry, I was
It's the
going through all of
24-25.
Okay, so this is the real one. I'll send it over to Sarah. The other one, throw that one away, please.
Or you can just relabel it.
Oh, yeah, this is the better one, actually. It's edited, not a lot of typos. That's yeah. Okay, we'll jump to the next slide. Sorry, Sarah.
That's okay.
So some of the recent outreach activities over the past year, one of the major ones was on the first one, the Hawaii Island Health Center. We have a pretty solid partnership with them. We hosted them twice on Mauna Kea already. And this all-staff training was an interesting one, because they wanted to have myself and Po Navigator Onohi Paishan invited us to speak at their all-staff training. And of course, oh yes, no problem, we can. We show up to the Kahilo Theater in Waimea, had like 450 people in the audience. And
Wow.
we never necessarily prepare for something like that. So one of the major things I've learned is ask more questions before you agree to do stuff. We did okay. Fortunately, Onohi was there because he's much more well-spoken than me and comfortable in front of massive groups like that. But it went, all in all, it went really well. And we're in the final stages of planning for another visit from the Hawaii Island Health Center staff. They're not everybody, but the new doctors and nurses that are working with them. We're gonna do a work day with them at Halepuhaku and Violet Bays. And they actually wanna do a site visit to like either Poleahu or Pu'ulilinois on the mount at the summit after lunch. That's where Kamalani is important because she can talk about the Mo'olelo stuff and the geology stuff relating to the pool. So just to add a little bit more substance and depth to that visit, that'll happen in September sometime.
Leo,
Yes.
what did they find interesting about your presentation?
Well, the focus was more on canoes and canoe making. And I was trying to relate them to, because they are healthcare professionals. And I always share this, I'm gonna take up a lot of time. I'm gonna try not to, but years ago when I was voyaging, There's Hokulea, Hikianalia, and Makali'i. We're on Kauai. We was gonna sail to northwestern Hawaiian Islands to reinter bones. Mokumana Mana. There's about 4 or 5 bones that was repatriated from Sweden or something, and we was gonna put the bones back on Mokumana Mana. And on our canoe, Hikianalia. No, I was on Hokulea. We had a medic. Yeah, and the medic at that time, what that day was supposed to leave, got sick. So this is a story I shared with them in regards, I was trying to relate it to Kuleana, and again, what you agreed to do, you should be prepared to do. Well, the medic got sick that day, and at that time I was working for Hui Malama Olanao EV. It's a native Hawaiian healthcare organization, but we never really provide
Healthcare.
healthcare. It was more consultations about diet and exercise and all of that, and I was working with Kolohe kids. But I was the only one in that Hokulea crew that had any type of relation to anything medical. So they kind of slide me in as this, okay, Kaleo gonna be the medic on this voyage. And I'm like, oh man, and had Nainoa Thompson and Pinky Thompson and all these big wigs. Okay, can you take on this Kuleana being the medic on the Va'a? Sure, take them on. They bring this big bag. It's a long story. Sorry for taking up time. But they brought this big medical bag with everything, AEDs and oxygen and whatever, and stitches, kits and whatever. So I'm like, oh. But in my head, I gotta look all confident, yeah. So took this bag, jumped on a canoe, we started the voyage. Halfway through the voyage, we were all, I was doing all right. The guy stubbed their toe, I put on Band-Aid. Somebody need aspirin, headache, I give them an aspirin. But halfway through the trip, we hit on big storm and thunder and lightning and everything. And I don't know, but some of you may know Kaimana Bakarsi. He works for Kamehameha Schools right now. Well, one part, he was the radio guy. Yeah? He always checking the radio, make sure the other canoes are okay. So he opened the radio box and he reached in the box to turn off the radio because it was pouring rain. Watering off his hand, hit the battery.
No.
And I'm standing there, he's like, he electrocuted, bzzz, and he fell down, boom. And in the rain, mouth open, eyes open. And we all looking at him, and they all looking at me. I'm like, nah, I can do Band-Aid. I don't know nothing about electrocution. So, long story short, we roll him in the hole, cover him with blankets, whack his head a couple times every couple hours, make sure he's alive. And that's how you check if the guy's all right. Just poke him in the head, make sure they move. And I shared that story because, we all like take on this Kuleana, but sometimes you gotta know what you're signing up for. And that one was way beyond my ability. So I shared this story. That's a long story, one of my favorite. We still swear that Kaimana still has after effects of that electrocution, but that is an inside joke. So that is the story I did share. It's a long story, but I enjoy telling that story. So yeah. Any questions about that? So I do have a habit of which I should learn, I should know by now, of agreeing to do stuff that maybe that's overconfidence or being naive, but I gotta be more informed before I agree to do stuff, yeah. And that was a perfect situation. And that Hawaii Island Health Center, all staff training thing. If I agree to do something, I gotta really know what I'm signing up for, yeah. Okay, back to the presentation. So these are some of the outreach activities we participated in, and I bring this one up because I think we should be doing more. We try to participate in as much events as we can, but on this part of the program, we can actually do a lot more. Do more community outreach, more community engagement. So that's kind of one of the goals for the upcoming year. And if you guys can see the pictures, there's some of the different events we participated in. We try to bring a lot of the Mauna stuff to the people and teach them about what we're doing and why. So yeah, I like pictures. Yeah, before I move on, is there any question? I only have a couple more slides. Any questions so far? The kids love it. We brought Pohaku from Keanakakoi, and then the girls, Taylor and Anu from Justin's team, had this whole finding bugs on the truck activity that the kids really love too. So we try to kind of relate it to the age group we're working with, yeah, so. Yeah, jump into the next slide. Yeah, so this is some of the groups that we do work with and we have been working with. There's a couple of them on there that are have been in the last 3 or 4 years, long-term relationships, like with Maunakea Learning Center, and again, Hawaii Island Health Centers. And the UH partnerships we have is super important, especially with the IS 250 classes and the Bonner Group. That's been an ongoing partnership since the get-go. We get a lot of students from the University of Hawaii here. We're doing a training with professional development training with Carrie Inglis, a faculty member here with some of the faculty from different disciplines on campus. We're doing that presentation next Thursday. Hoping to get more partnerships and host more groups through that presentation. Teach for America, this will be their 3rd year coming up. They're coming up again on August 29th. Science Camps of America, they come every year and they bring 100 students at a time. So we got to split them up in 2 days, yeah. And I did put Gemini Telescope in there because they've been really open to helping us. Like when we're trying to expose our kids that participate in the summer youth program, we're trying to expose them to the actual people that work in the telescopes, in the hopes that they pursue careers, you know, from meeting the people in the telescope. So that was Kamalani's first experience up the summit and in on telescope. So yeah, that was a good experience. So I like to use Gemini, you know, Canada Friends as well with Jean Gabriel. We do a lot of stuff with that 2 telescopes, in addition to the others like Keck and stuff too. We'll go through each one really quickly, kind of going longer than I hope to. So sorry for that. But the Stanford University Malama Hawaii program is an interesting one. They bring a group of students from Stanford every spring break. Oh, this will be their 2nd access to the Mauna. So we're already in the final stages of planning for that. The last time they came, last spring break, they brought about maybe a dozen students. I think because it's Mauna Kea, that program expanded, so they may bring up 20 next spring. And the rest, like the University of Nations, that's the Christian college based out of Kona. Those guys come to work. They bring we had hosted between 40 and 75 students from their campus, and they're from all over the world. And they're trying to train these kids on how to do actual work in the community. So they just come up and pull 2,000 pounds of weeds in like 2 hours. So we appreciate that partnership as well. And these are most of it. I may have missed a couple, so yeah, I might update the slide again later on if I need to. And that's the Makali'i gang, all the teachers from Nakalaiwa on the top picture, and the Gemini visit, and then the Bonner group on the bottom right. And that was all within the last year. Okay, that's pretty much all I have. Well, I used the picture of the students playing ukulele and guitar in Halepohaku because they're part of the Hawaiian Studies, one of the Olelo Hawaii classes that came up. And I don't know, we worked hard in the morning, they had lunch, and kind of had to kick them out because they never leave. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon, and they all started playing ukulele and singing, which was it really was a interesting thing to have happen in Halepohaku because I don't think it happens too often in there. We even had a bunch of the Subaru astronomers, you know, joining in and hanging out. It turned into a pretty cool thing, but again, we had to cut it short because there would have been an all-nighter. But and then the picture on the top, we actually did ceremony relating to canoe making in Keanakauko'i this past June. I don't know how often ceremonies happen in there, but that was a really important day, I think, for us because we do spend a lot of time in there. Yeah. This is my last slide. If you guys have any questions, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Khalil. I do have one question. This is Kehao. those are such great partnerships and collaborations. I wish there was more high schools on the island that would take advantage of this program. Do you see, or have you experienced any barriers through your outreach program where groups that may be aligned wanted to come up and couldn't come up because of some reason?
The main barriers is transportation, of course, yeah. Because they gotta get themselves to
Hmm.
at least the visitor center. But on the slide I had on the bottom, the Waikea Ag Program, my friend Joe Valente, he's running this awesome ag program through Waikea High. But they don't have transportation, so that was the only group that I provided transportation to. We was able to pull it off because it was university employee vehicles, and then their principal signed off on it, so primarily transportation. Some of the off-island guys, they gotta do their own fundraising. As long as they can get to the visitor center, we love to host them, yeah. So that's the main barrier. That's one of some of the few barriers we encountered so far, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So Kaleo, any on the list from off island that are high school?
No high school, oh, I forgot to put them on. We had Mililani High School come up.
Oh,
and,
really? Oh,
Some professors from Punahou came up recently through Bill Stormont.
oh,
Just a handful, like 8 students from Mililani was kind of far back, maybe. We need to go look the dates.
right.
I
No,
forgot.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was a shorter visit. They were actually on island to do other stuff. And then they came and spent a few hours with us. But Punahou, a few Punahou instructors came up and they're interested in what we're doing. So they're gonna try to figure out how to get some of their students here as well. Yeah, I'm trying to actually reach out more to West Hawaii too, Kona, where I'm from. So working with the
Yes, I
teachers from
know.
Kona Waina.
Yeah, Kealakeke, Konawa.
I'm Kona Waina grad, and I've been trying to get students from there and Palamanui up on the Mauna.
Yeah.
So that is one of my goals. So the professional development training we're doing next week with Carrie Inglis and the faculty in the Kilohana Learning Center. There's a couple of teachers like she was saying from Palamanui, so hoping to connect with them. I used to work for HCC too, so I know most of the faculty there. I should just reach out more. I never do enough outreach to the faculty there. So yes, that's one of the goals.
Well, there's one of you, so.
Hey,
You know.
Kamalani too.
Well, now you have two.
Yeah, and she's from Waianae, so maybe we can get some West Hawaii people, West Hawaii people. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's going good and we already it's looking like the next upcoming fiscal year gonna be just as busy or more. I was sharing with Greg, there's a lot more like Hawaii Teachers Association. When we was at the conservation conference, we met, I don't know if she was the president or somehow, she was kind of higher up. But she wants to bring teachers from statewide up to Mauna Kea for doing professional development thing, Malamaina thing. So still in conversation, nothing final, but we hope to establish something or create, set up something with them. And again, Teach for America is important because they come up with like 30 teachers from all the campuses on the island, and teachers come with students. So that's why I like working with teachers, yeah.
Maybe you can mention, especially for Bonnie, the athletic department.
Yes, so as of recently with through Kekoa, Kekoa Harmon and Pele Harmon. She's the Native Hawaiian engagement person, but they want to expose our athletes, the UH athletes, to more community-based work. So we actually set up next week, Wednesday, hosting the men's soccer team of Mauna Kea on field work day. All 40 of them are coming, so kind of looking forward to that, yeah. So, and then I think the conversations is they like bring up the women's soccer team and then the volleyball team. So it's just something they want to get the student athletes out into the community, kind of learning about different things, especially Mauna Kea, while they're here, yeah, so. Excited about that partnership, yeah. That's a new one, just happened. I forgot about that one. So Kamalani gonna get to work with the soccer team, soccer boys next week.
Wow.
So, board members, I mean, I want to just sort of emphasize a couple of points. I mean, you see it reflected in the actual work and activities that Kaleo is doing. But when we hired Kaleo, and I think I've shared this before, one of the things Nahu and I really wanted him to focus on was to develop relationships, particularly with teachers and faculty and professionals, because we knew that that was going to be a way to identify areas of common interest that we could work together on, and then engage students, their students through that. And so we've asked him to focus a lot on developing those relationships with UH Hilo, Hawaii Community College, the high schools, the community groups and whatnot. And so, when he talks about things like professional development, that's important for exposing that group. But what we're really trying to do also is find ways to identify things that we can work on together, so they bring their students up there, or they bring their staff up, or they bring their, whoever their service, whoever they serve. Because that's the way that we can really begin to help people understand what it is that we do on the Mauna, and the many things that we do beyond just astronomy. And it's through that kind of exposure that we can hopefully open ideas, people's minds and ideas to what might be possible. Whether that's a career move for a student, a major for a student, or just, understanding what actually goes on and what our stewardship is all about and what it involves. Because we think, I believe that a lot of the misunderstandings of the past have originated or been grounded in the fact that people don't really know what university does up there. So it's a slower process, but it's a process I think that does work. And those relationships now are starting to pay off.
Mhm.
Fulfilling when they call us and say, we want to come back. They want to come back.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more, we have been working with the IS 250 classes and a couple of the Hawaiian studies classes, even the high schools like Kiao High School and Waiakea High School, and the Maunakea Learning Center, where they're developing curriculum around the activities that their students will be participating on Mauna Kea. So in most cases, we go in and meet the students and talk to them about our plans, the conservation efforts, the culture history stuff. And then teachers are actually developing curriculum aligned with their eventual access to Mauna Kea. That way they can kind of apply some of the stuff they're learning on the Mauna. So that is another major goal of mine to, right on they come up to the Mauna, but hopefully they can learn, in class about the stuff that we do, about the trees, the plants and everything else that's important. And so, yeah. That is in development as well.
So before we wrap up this, I do want to ask Kamalani to share a little bit about the work that, your research and your work, and some of the initial thoughts of how you might be able to bring, what you might be able to bring into the programming with the students, the faculty and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. Aloha, everybody. Mahalo for having me here. So I've been a PIPES intern for 3 years. So PIPES is a Pacific Internship Programs for Exploring Science. It's a 10 to 11 week paid internship, and we bring people from all over like the continent and all over Hawaii to do a lot of like Malama Aina work, and they pair us with different organizations on the Hawaii island, and we with our mentors, and we create research projects that we present at the end of the summer. That was just last week. I just finished. Really sad because all my peeps are gone, but awesome experience. It kind of got me into more geology because my first 2 years I worked with USGS HVO, so I'm very connected with them. I have plans to connect us with them later in the future. Surprise.
Perfect.
But yeah, I have all these ideas. I do a lot of geology research. I'm kind of, a lot of people say I'm an expert in Kilauea. So my first year, I did a lot of olivine work. So olivine is a crystal that grows out of magma. And I kind of studied that and analyzed it to see where all of the magma went into the conduits because there's like a shallow and a deeper conduit underneath Kilauea. And Kilauea is a very cyclical volcano, so it fills up with lava, and then when it gets heavy, it gets hollow underneath, and it like collapses again. So it does that every now and then. So we're in a really great time of, science exploration, a lot of research going on, and a lot of questions that are coming up. So, but yeah, if you guys ever wanna like meet the people from HBO, I'm very happy to connect you guys. They're awesome people. Last year I kind of grabbed that concept of olivine and connected to seismicity. So I wanted to see if all of the earthquakes that we're experiencing has an effect on olivine growth. Still working on that, kind of tying up the ends on it. But I found that maybe some olivine does, some olivine doesn't. It's kind of in the works still yet. I'll let you guys know when I'm done with it. But this year, my first 2 years were very research intense and very like Western sciencey, as we like to call it. But this year I wanted to focus on bringing that indigenous science, that Ike Kupuna, into how we can kind of get the indigenous and the Western sciences to coexist and not be standalones. So my symposium, all of our symposium was recorded on YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out, I can send you all the links. So my project this year is connecting a bunch of mo'olelo to Kilauea and Maunakea. So I've been like doing a lot of research on how these mo'olelo hold a lot of data and the events that our kupuna kind of recorded. So, and I'm kind of connecting that to all of the geologic processes that we see that's happening today. So yeah, I feel like I can bring a lot of insight on a lot of geology perspectives. I'm learning how to olelo Hawaii again, so I would like to bring a lot of olelo Hawaii to the space. And I feel like culture here is very important. And I feel like learning about all of our culture, all these sacred spaces, all of the akua and all of these things is very important and special to us. Because I dance hula, I carry myself in a way where it's very pono in all of these spaces. I do protocol, as Kaleo knows. And I think it's important for people to kind of know how to carry themselves in these spaces as well, because these spaces are important to us. So, yeah, I hope that answered you.
Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
We're very pleased and blessed to have Kamalani join the team.
Yeah.
And Bonnie, you should be very proud, another proud graduate.
Hi,
Absolutely.
Chancellor.
I was going to share with you that my first trip up to the summit was actually with Ken Hahn. So it was a geologist that took me to the summit before anyone else did.
Yeah, we love Ken. He's awesome.
Any other questions for Kaleo and Kamalani?
No, keep up the good work.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Okay, thanks for you guys' time. Yes, thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Yeah. You guys gonna take off?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mahalo, everybody.
Yeah, mahalo.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leo, you forgot to leave the meeting.
Oh.
It's okay.
You can kick me
It's
out.
not a big deal. I'll kick everyone out at the end, but.
I should be out. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Mahalo.
Okay, we'll move on to ED report. Great.
Yeah. Let me switch seats here. You wanna move over to the line?
Yeah.
Won't leave Andy by himself over here. Okay, by the way, everyone, Nahua is on vacation, so that's why she's not here with us today.
Yeah.
Okay, so per the agenda, there are three things really that are kind of I wanted to go over. Just an update on our transition with the Maunakea Stewardship and Oversight Authority. An update on the long-term transition working group master transition plan. This is the assets and obligations master plan that we've been working on. And then a couple of updates from an operational perspective. So the biggest thing in terms of the transition is, I'm assuming everyone has heard or is aware, but Executive Director John DeFries submitted his resignation and has retired from state service effective the end of this July. That came as somewhat of a surprise, but I know John has there's some his own reasons for needing to do this at this time. So that has opened the door to lots of discussions in the last 3 weeks with MKSOA Chair John Komeiji and the remaining staff on how we ensure that the progress that they're making on several key initiatives, continues and they don't lose time while they go through the process of recruiting for a new executive director, which we've been told would likely take about 6 months. And so after discussing with Chair Komeiji some different approaches and ideas, I proposed an approach where we established project teams where CMS and some of our key people are working directly with MKSOA staff and their consultants who are working on these various initiatives. The idea being that, where Executive Director DeFries is absence is going to leave a gap there on their side. We could support some of that ongoing work. That proposal was agreed to in concept, and so we are still going through the process of figuring out exactly how to set up these teams and how these teams would operate. But basically, we've identified, you see 3 bullets there, but it's really 4 different teams. One team would have us working closely with their management team and their consultants who are working on their management plan. Their management plan is starting to come together. In the last 4 weeks, we have received major document, I don't want to call them dumps, but major document dumps that they've asked for our assistance in beginning to review. Literally 500 plus pages probably now at this point. So we did an initial review of the first tranche of documents that they sent us 2 weeks ago. And then just on Monday, yesterday, we received the second tranche of documents. So we're starting our review of those documents as well. So the planning process is starting to take shape in the sense that there are drafts and deliverables now being delivered. But those drafts, as you might expect, especially at this early stage, require a lot of close review. And in particular, they're asking us to help review them from the perspective of having experience of operations on the ground, how these plans match up with what we know will be realistic and doable. So that's a perspective our folks, we've asked our folks to take. Right now, we've been asked to provide our comments on this latest tranche of documents by August 14th. With the departure of Executive Director DeFries, they are now needing to re-look at their whole outreach and engagement process that they want to go through. Well, their whole review process, and then after that, their outreach process that they want to go through using the draft that they come up with. They are still looking at adopting a draft of the plan or having a draft of the plan by October of this year. And then next year, taking that out into the community to get community input and have a final by next summer. So between Nahua and myself, we will be working more closely now with their consultants and their management team on ensuring that they are able to stay on track with their deadlines and meet their deliverables. There's two other teams that I propose setting RFP for the EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, that they need to do. And the other is to develop the scope of work for an RFP for their administrative rules. They do not have anyone within their team who has experience either with developing a scope of work for an EIS or administrative rules, or really experiencing what those kinds of initiatives or efforts involve and require. So we will be working with, there are two teams. One will be working on the RFP for the EIS and the other will be working on the RFP for the administrative rules. These will be, I do want to make clear, these will be MKSOA's RFPs, not UH's RFPs, but we are helping them think through and develop the actual scopes of work. And then the last group, which is something that, I know is important to all of us and that we have been advocating, is the need to begin preliminary work on discussions with the MKOs regarding leases. Now, a couple of weeks ago, or last month's MKO directors meeting, or 2 months ago, the MKSOA consultant who has been doing some of this work came and did a presentation to the MKO directors and asked for some input on some very specific questions related to, what would be involved in negotiating with your agency a new lease or a lease extension. So we want to make sure that that work continues. And so we're going to set up a team to provide some additional support and thinking around those discussions. They are still at this point pulling together the feedback that the observatories have provided them on an initial survey that they were asked to respond to. I've not seen any analysis of that, but I think it's safe to say that for most of the MKOs, working on new leases is negotiating and agreeing to new leases is a multi-year process. 2, 3, maybe in some cases 4-year process. The idea of working on extending leases which MKSOA now has the authority to do. Even that, depending on if there are any changes to the terms of existing leases, even that could take a multi-year process. So as we have been advising MKSOA from the start, the need to begin these discussions, as preliminary as they may be at this point, is really, really important, because they're going to need to map out the timelines, respective timelines for all of these different observatories and their ownership groups to work through those individual negotiations that are going to have to be done. So that's what we're doing on the process of trying to support them now that Executive Director DeFries has departed. That's one of the things I wanted to make sure you folks were aware of. The second thing is the long-term transition working group master transition plan. This is the asset and obligations transition. We had expected a draft 5 of that plan, which is supposed to be the final version. Last week, Friday, we have not yet received that. So we're still waiting on that. We have in the process, and some of this I've reported on previously, identified several, outstanding issues that are going to require respective board involvement at some level to resolve, or at least we anticipate that's what will be required. So in anticipation of that, one of the ideas that has been floated is the idea of both the Board of Regents and the MKSOA board establishing their respective permitted interaction groups, or PIGs. The idea being that should there be these issues that require resolution that is beyond the management's role and authorities, we have a mechanism to bring those groups together. In that regard, tomorrow, on Thursday, I will be presenting a recommendation to the Regents Facilities and Long Range Planning Committee for them to form a Mauna Kea permitted interaction group that would be set up to begin preparing to address some of these issues. This is just a sampling of some of the issues that I'll be reviewing with the Regent, the Planning Committee on Thursday. I have briefed you folks on some of these in the past, such as the future ownership and operation of the communications network. We have identified that there's some differences of legal opinion on whether the transfer of the master lease needs to occur in order for the MKSOA to be able to extend leases or issue new leases. So there's some legal issues that I think that we're going to need to get the attorneys involved in working through. There are some issues about making sure we reserve our rights for our future observatory leases, and rights for future access to Halepohaku, for example, for education and research programming. We want to make sure we continue to be able to utilize the facilities up there for the kinds of things you saw, you heard from Kaleo, but also other kinds of programs, such as were envisioned in our master plan when we talked about Halepohaku as a multidisciplinary field station. And then there is some discussion in the transfer plan itself about some of the services currently provided by Mauna Kea Shared Services, or MKSS, food and lodging, utilities, etc., as to whether those actually fit within MKSOA's statutory responsibilities as a land steward, as a land manager. And so one of the things that we will want to discuss and work through is how can UH assist? And how would that, in building the educational component, or maintaining and building the educational component of our facilities, at our facilities up there. And then how would we structure that arrangement, with, MKSOA? So, I'm sure there are other issues, but these are a sampling of some of the more significant issues. And then just a couple of operations updates. Our underground storage replacement project, our site plan application, I think we notified you folks before. That's targeted to be submitted this month. I think next week, maybe even this week, the consultants will be submitting that. Preliminary feedback from Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands indicates that they are going to approve the application. They really haven't had many comments or questions to this point in time as we've been consulting with them. Just today, we received formal notification from OCCL that our site plan application for the educational trail and greenhouse project that Justin has presented to you folks and that you folks approved. The site plan application has been approved. And so the next step is for us to begin scoping out an RFP to engage a planning consultant so we can develop a more specific engineering plan for that project. And then in terms of financial stabilization or cost sharing TP project, I've shown this to you folks before. There's no change from last month. Initially, MKSOA agreed to paying us a little over $2 million for what we call the operational services budget. And then $1.475 million for replacement of a lot of our heavy equipment and support vehicles. So that was invoiced and paid, payment received. And then subsequent to that, we have invoiced for $600,000 for the supplemental ranger program and the deferred maintenance work. And so that has been paid for as well. So we have a little bit of money, the $200,000 for the conservation and education programs, and that's the money that we want to use to do the engineering and planning study or development of the plan for the greenhouse and educational trail project. So we'll invoice for that when we have a better idea of the numbers. One last thing is for those who have been following the recent developments, you may have heard last week that the Spanish government has put on the table a pretty substantial proposal to have the 30-meter telescope be built there in the Canary Islands at La Palma. There are a number of different moving parts to it. I don't personally understand all the different details of the proposal, but it does total a little over $1 billion for the project to move there. I have talked to TMT project manager Feng Xuan, and all he can say at this point is that they are fully engaged in evaluating the proposal. So that is put on the table, and it's our understanding that they have until the end of September to make a decision about this. So that came up late, and I wasn't able to get it on the agenda in time, but I wanted to at least notify you folks if you are not aware of that development. Okay. That concludes my executive director's report for this evening. Any questions?
Great. Can we go back to the interim joint management plan where you talked about the 3 different teams?
Sure.
It sounds like we're gonna be driving a lot of this work. But does MK Soil, are they going to be the final decision makers?
Yes, it's a bit of a fine dance because we don't want to be driving their work.
Right.
But we want to make sure that the work continues and progress does not get delayed. We have made it clear, I have made it clear, that MKSOA, you know, is the final decision maker on any of these things. It's just that we have some of the expertise and experience, what needs to be done to get this stuff done. But they will have the final decision-making authority.
Yeah, I guess what I'm afraid of is taking the
Yeah,
outcome
yeah.
that people will say that the university unduly influenced the creation of these plans.
That was a concern when I first put this forward. But considering some of the other alternatives they were looking at, this was a better option for us. And one thing it does allow us to do is be able to support them in a little bit more direct way. Because, you know, they don't have a large team and they don't have the experience and expertise that we have.
Right.
Any other questions from board members?
Mike,
Oh,
I
and
was
the
just,
time,
well,
no, go ahead, Bonnie.
Roberta.
No, go
Oh.
ahead.
Okay. I was just going to add that John Komeiji had the same concerns, Mike, with the proposal that Greg originally drafted. And so he had suggested some revisions to make it clear that this is still MKSOA work, but we are lending assistance as Act 55 asks us to do.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. You know, Act 55 does direct UH to jointly manage with CMS, with MKSOA during this transition period. So, you know, this now provides a little bit more clarity on some of the things that what joint management might actually look like, what it actually looks like.
My only other comment was, you know, the timeline is just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I think the good thing is MKSOA's board, from what it sounds like, it has realized that they need the right input to make proper and effective decisions. And I think that's where Greg Nahua and, you know, the CMS team is going to be able to provide that. And I don't think there's anybody else that would do a better job. It's good, Bonnie, that, you know, there is clear understanding between MKSOA and CMS that it is ultimately MKSOA's decision, but that CMS, as per Act 255, is providing the support needed. Yeah. I still think the timeline is, I'm not sure if they'll be able to reach the timelines or the deadlines, but you can only move forward as fast as you can.
That was my question too, is the timelines realistic? Because that's a huge amount of work, Greg, that you and your team are doing in undertaking this alongside of your existing roles and your existing job functions, and this additional basically review work to provide comments so that they can make an informed decision is a huge undertaking for your team. And I was just curious, is that, you know, like August 14th, 2 weeks to review all that work for the management plan? Are these realistic timelines for you folks?
Not for us to do the kind of job that we would like to do. What we're gonna do is as best as we can. I can tell you having till August 14th is actually better than the first time. When we received the first tranche of documents a couple of weeks ago, we had 3 days to review 500 pages. So of course, you know, we split up the work and we had our managers, and we're going to do it the same way, look at the sections of the plan that apply mostly to them. So for example, Kaleo will be looking at the education and outreach chapter. Justin and his team on the resource management chapters. You know, I've looked at the astronomy chapters as well as the regulatory framework chapters. And Nahua's kind of focused on certain sections of different chapters as well. So we've kind of had to break it up that way, but you're right, Kehal. I mean, to do the kind of job that we would like to do, this timeline is really tough.
So question, Greg, so it's their management plan and there is a Maunakea management plan. So are chunks of the existing plans being incorporated in the overall plan?
I had a conversation today with one of their consultants, and that's kind of a big focus for them right now, is looking at. The short answer is yes, they want to integrate parts of our existing plan. The longer answer is they're not clear on how best to do that. You know, just as one example, for example, what we are reviewing right now is a plan that really focuses on kind of the overarching principles and objectives they're trying to achieve within each of these top subject areas, and how they want to approach that work. But it's only starting to get down to the level of specific management actions. And there's a lot more specificity our managers who have looked at these chapters have been saying this plan needs to get to.
Do you require?
Some of that specificity actually exists in what we call our subplans.
On the document.
And so one of the questions that they're looking at now is how do they integrate the subplans? How do the subplans actually fit in the this master plan that they're developing? So it's there's a number of issues like that are going to have to still be worked through and they're going to have to decide on. But you know, the first go around with our team, as a general feedback, they were saying this is not getting specific enough to give us direction on what we would actually be doing.
Yeah.
From a management action perspective.
I mean, really, the sub-plans, because, you know, you just remind me of everything. The sub-plans were created, you know, with OMKM and now CMS. I mean, you know, the steps are repeating themselves. And so the faster you can, you know, shorten that timeline and help them incorporate that, you know, what I view as wisdom, the better off everybody's going to be. But, you know, it's going to be interesting how and if the speed of that understanding will take place, right? So that you can acknowledge and then receive information that you feel is, you know, really going to be helpful.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
You know, your question also just reminded me of something that I forgot to include in my report, but it relates to this transition. As you folks may recall, the regents last year, directed us, or earlier this year, directed, us to make an amendment in our master plan that would align with Act 255 that allows for the reuse of decommissioned facility sites for future decommission, for future observatory use.
Yeah.
Astronomy use. So we have been working on that, Erica, myself, Nahua, and our consultants. We now have a package that we're really reviewing on Thursday, but we believe it's the final, and that we can then begin socializing. So we're gonna start with our environment committee, Kahukumana, but I am gonna want to bring it to this group probably next month, as early as next month. Because we are in a little bit of a shortened timeline now with getting it to the regions. Just a heads up that is coming. It's very specific to only certain sections of the master plan that refer to the use of these decommissioned sites. And so, but it actually relates to the question that you were asking, Roberta. We didn't want to get into having to amend any of the subplans. So we kept the proposed changes very specific to just this one item in the master plan. So you can expect we'll be bringing that to you folks next month.
Okay. Yeah, it's in the item B, update UH master plan amendment. I mean, the UH master plan amendment update.
Yeah, I just forgot to put it in this slide deck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for that update. I was wondering.
There are two amendments, right? One is the reuse and the second is the assignment rate.
The assignment issue is separate.
Okay.
Separate. That's what we think this new MIG is we're gonna have to work through with this new MIG.
Right, the first item on the agenda.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, that concludes my executive director's report for tonight.
Okay. Well, that moves us now to executive session.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion to move into executive session so we can consult with our attorney regarding questions related to the board's powers, duties, and privileges. Especially regarding our joint management role with MKSOA, some of the issues we discussed tonight.
I second, Kehao.
Thank you, Kehal. I have a motion and a second. All in favor of moving to executive session, say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Okay. Unanimous approval. So we will move now to executive session and then reconvene the public meeting when we're done. Thank you.
So Makai, you gotta leave this meeting and go use the other link for the executive session to go into that one.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I forget, did you guys submit comments to Chris Daggett's questions? Scott, submit comments, responses?
I don't actually know if we did, because I don't think we had joints in back. So I think we did comment on the general.
Right, yeah. The one that Rich sent, yeah.
Did Billy move over already?
So I know we're waiting for Dr. Bergen, right?
Yes.
Yep. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
I saw him doing something.
Yeah, I was like checking paper clips out next door.
I guess it's preferred than yelling out.
Yeah. I think he was trying to be respectful of the meeting going on.
Mhm. Yeah, have you heard from the Hua? I've tried not to bother her, so.
Just with pictures and videos of her and baby. That's all we've been getting. She's enjoying herself.
Oh,
I can imagine.
good.
Yeah, we all fly up there the weekend of August 16th, I believe, for her granddaughter's first birthday in Oregon.
So you guys going up too?
Yeah.
All right.
Molly is like one of my daughters too. So
What part of Oregon?
I'm the second. She is in Happy Valley by Clackamas.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Her husband went to firefighting school and had moved there. He had family in the area and was applying all over to different stations trying to get a firefighting job. He's currently here applying in Honolulu. They want to move back. They miss home.
Mm.
Yeah, I went to
Oh, man.
Osu in Corvallis, but that was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, used to go down to Bend and
Yeah.
Three Sisters a lot, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just
Yeah, my
texted
daughter's in Portland.
Oh,
Yeah.
You texted who?
Billy
Yeah.
and
And Julie.
Patricia to see if he was rejoining the regular meeting.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he might not, just because I would just, it'd be a short end of the
Yeah.
meeting.
What about Julie?
Julie's on.
She kind
Oh,
of pops
she's
in
on.
and out.
Okay.
Her,
Yeah.
her services.
Okay.
Well, did he reply?
Not yet, but I just messaged him.
Oh, okay.
You know, you went to OSU.
Yeah, but that was ancient history.
How did you end up there?
Yeah, I went there actually for civil engineering.
Oh.
After the first year, decided, no, that's not for me.
Okay,
Terrible.
he's texting. He says he's trying to.
Okay.
You know, we were shooting survey sites for a road in Eastern Oregon in the pouring rain with a pound of mud under each boot. And I asked, is this how you start?
Yeah.
There he is.
Okay.
Hey.
Great. All right, we have everyone here, so I will reconvene the Maunakea Management Board public meeting. It is now 6:54. Those of us attending via Zoom, if you have someone else in your room, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands. For the record, Zoom attendees are by themselves. And I will now ask Greg to summarize the executive session, which we just ended.
Thank you, Chair. So during executive session, we had the opportunity to consult with our attorney on questions related to our powers, duties, privileges, and liabilities as it relates to our joint management relationship with MKSOA. We talked through some of the specifics of the management teams that we discussed in the regular meeting. And I should note that no decisions were made, no actions were taken, and no votes were taken. The session was for information only regarding our joint management with MKSOA.
Thank you. So we move now to announcements. The next public meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 1st at 5 p.m. Greg, do you have any other announcements you want to make?
No, other than I did, note we can expect to have the master plan amendment on the agenda. And then I just don't know at this point, but there might be other issues for discussion and input regarding the MKSOA management plan as it's being developed now that we're starting to review drafts. But I won't know that for a while.
Right. Would you want to call a special meeting? I guess if it happens, we'll have to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I do need to let you know though, I'll be out of the country for beginning Friday, and I'll be back in the States. Actually, I'll be in Portland on the 24th, back in Hawaii on the 30th. So, but when I'm in Portland, I'll be able to zoom in. It's just for the 2-week period, gonna be, not have connectivity or limited.
Okay.
But if you text me, then I'll, try to connect with you when I can, because we are going to have a secure hotspot.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has plans, or if you do, please let Greg know.
I'm available that week.
First is my wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations, Andy.
Going to stay married another year?
That's the plan.
So you won't be at the meeting?
I would rather not do.
Yeah.
It sounded though like some of it was kind of, we'll probably not be there.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So if there are no other announcements, I will adjourn the meeting. It is now 6:58. And thank you everyone for attending, and have a great evening.